He went to Las Vegas last week, and it didn't disappoint. I know. You heard that right. Las Vegas didn't disappoint. Hey, what's up guys, it's Sam here. How are you guys doing today? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. We're going to be doing RaceInformer. We're going to talk about the previous race at Las Vegas, which was super exciting. It wasn't the best race of the season, but it was pretty good. There were some alright restarts. There was some green flag passes. There was a lot of wrecks, which wrecks help make a great race. I mean, wrecks are not needed for a great race, but wrecks really do help in making a pretty good race. Alright, so let's get into some news. Right off the bat, we have some news. Ryan Newman has announced that he is leaving RCR this weekend. Next season, he will not return to Richard Childress Racing. Not sure who will be in the 31 car. I'd personally like Matt Benedetto, but I'm not positive. Ryan Newman, though, announced this week that he will not be returning to RCR next year. Also, in some other news, I don't really talk about other series besides the Cup Series on this show, but I feel like it's important to say that congratulations to Scott Dixon. He got his 5th IndyCar championship, which is just absolutely insane. It's been over 50 years since that's happened. Al Unser was the last guy to do it, so that's incredible. Congratulations to Scott Dixon. I actually watched the race. It was, I mean, I would have preferred Alexander Rossi because, I mean, I don't watch much races, but, like, he won the Indy 500, and I watched that race, and that was really cool. So I kind of would have preferred Alexander Rossi because he's, like, tied for my favorite with Joseph Newgarden. So I would have preferred Alexander Rossi, and he was definitely making his way to the front, which is really cool. He was making a rally back after some early issues, so that was pretty cool to see. But it wasn't enough, and Scott Dixon got his 5th championship, which is insane. That's awesome. Congratulations. The gift that we saw of his wife, like the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. That's absolutely amazing. Also, in other IndyCar news, Robert Wickens spoke out. He made a Twitter video saying he was in a bunch of stuff that like a bunch of protection stuff. He had a bad crash at Pocono a month ago, and he's actually just now spoken out. He hasn't been on social media since then, so it's good to see him talking. He still looks like he's in a lot of pain. Still in the hospital, obviously, so it sucks for him. Hope he's been playing some NASCAR Heat 3. They don't have an IndyCar game, do they? I don't think they should make an IndyCar game. They don't have one. I would actually buy that. If they made an IndyCar game, I would actually buy that. All right, now let's get into actual NASCAR. Let's get into the race rundown. The race was 100 degrees at Las Vegas when we came on race day. It was 100 degrees, so that was pretty insane. I mean, remember, Chicagoland, that was also close to 100 degrees. It was really freaking hot that day, and it provided for some of the best racing of the season. And in my opinion, that was the best racing of the season at Chicagoland. And then we saw it again this weekend at Las Vegas. We saw it wasn't as good as Chicagoland. I think Daytona night race was better, and Daytona 500 was better, and Bristol was obviously better. But I thought it was pretty decent racing. I enjoyed it. For a lot of the race, I didn't enjoy it, but like coming down to the final 50 laps or so, that was pretty good. We also had Eric Jones. He started on pole. He didn't even lead a full lap of the race, so that sucks. I was really hoping he would have a good day. I actually predicted for him to win Stage 1 in my NASCAR fantasy lineup, but that didn't happen. And Stage 1 ended with Martin Truex Jr. winning Stage 1, and Kyle Larson actually had troubles in Stage 1. He had tire problems, ended up having to pit, but he came back to finish 3rd place. I also saw some playoff contenders in trouble. Saw Kevin Harvick, he blew a tire, went up into the wall, collecting Eric Jones, actually. I mean, that's one of the most craziest wrecks I've seen in a while. I mean, it seems like it would have been an easily avoidable crash, but, I mean, I'm not the one driving the race car. Eric Jones clearly is, so, but yeah, Eric Jones got in trouble. I feel really bad for Eric Jones, man. Kevin Harvick, I don't really care what happens to him. I want him to lose a championship, but Eric Jones, I mean, that really sucks. He's one of my favorite drivers, and to see that happen to him, that kind of sucks. We also saw Chase Elliott and Jamie McMurray. They had crashes. Jamie McMurray started spinning and got into Chase Elliott. I don't remember that crash fully, but I do remember that it happened. I don't remember how it happened, but I remember that it happened. So they both got taken out. Jamie McMurray's not a playoff contender, but Chase Elliott is. He got taken out of the race, and he's currently below the cut line. Then there was a time with like 7 laps to go that they just didn't care. NASCAR just did not care. They did not throw a caution when there was like 5 cars in trouble. There was like Bowman, Almirola, Johnson. I think Boyer had some trouble on that restart, and NASCAR just didn't care. Like, it took them like 3 laps to finally throw a caution, and it was not even for any of those issues. It was for Logano barely tapping the wall. In my opinion, I feel like NASCAR needs to find a fine line between, you know, we got to let these races play out and throw a debris caution every 5 laps, because they used to do that. And, I mean, back then, the racing was a lot better. I mean, the racing was a lot better when they threw a bunch of cautions all the time. And people got mad at them, but, like, it's just one of those things that you have to, in my opinion, get through if you're going to, you know, win the races. And if your lead gets cut because of one of those cautions, I mean, that sucks. It really does, but I mean, it's just one of those things. It's part of the sport. In baseball, you're going to have to deal with the strikeouts. In baseball, you're going to have to deal, you know, with different conditions of weather, rain. I mean, it's just one of those things that you have to deal with. And I feel like this is another one of the things that you have to deal with. You got to deal with debris cautions, and the sport was a lot better back then when they had a lot of those cautions. I mean, 2011 we saw 18 different winners. And then you know, like 2015 was around the area that they stopped throwing a lot of debris cautions, and that's when the racing got, you know, worse and worse. I'm not saying debris cautions are the main cause of good racing. I mean, obviously, if you bring back the old cars, it'd be a lot better of racing. But I just think debris cautions really do help the product of the racing be better, because we don't want to see guys like Truex just leading every lap and winning the race. Nobody wants to see that. I mean, maybe people like to see Truex winning, but just seeing him dominate the entire race with like no cautions and just the stage caution, that's not fun. That's no fun. But another one of my things is like NASCAR doesn't throw cautions when like 5 cars are having tire issues, but they'll throw a stage caution. That's inconsistent. Pick one or the other. We also saw Denny Hamlin, he spun out in the grass, and Kurt Busch had issues coming to the final lap. Kyle Busch had a pretty big rebound. He spun with about 25 laps to go into the grass. He luckily did not get much damage from the grass, which is rare. I mean, if you spin into the grass, you're probably going to get a lot of damage, but he did not. Came back to finish 7th. I mean, part of that was because of all the cautions and everything, but I mean, that's pretty cool to see him come back and finish 7th place. And now, one of the more controversial moments of the weekend was the overtime finish. Not the overtime finish itself, but everything that happened. We saw the red flag come out, and we were already going overtime in our TV lineup. So when the red flag came out, they moved the IndyCar race. They put the IndyCar race on until the red flag was lifted. A lot of people got mad about that. I mean, I don't see the issue with it. I don't need to look at a bunch of parked cars, but I feel like, you know, have like CNBC and NBCSN was broadcasting the IndyCar race, and I don't feel like that was necessary. I feel like pick one or the other. Like, they should have put the IndyCar race on CNBC until the race was over, and then moved it to NBCSN. And because then they had to rush post-race interviews and everything, and it really kind of, like, they didn't do the start-finish line interview, which I do like. I mean, it kind of sucks. But then they came back and they finished the race, and it was a pretty good finish. Brad Keselowski ended up winning his 3rd race in a row. That was pretty cool. Congrats to him. He's making the big 4. I'd say the big 3, because Truex is not really much of a contender anymore. It's cool to see that a Big 3 driver has not won in over a month. I mean, Michigan was the last time a Big 3 driver won. And I mean, the Big 3, I put Keselowski in the Big 3 now, because Truex has not gotten a 3-in-a-row wins this season. He hasn't even gotten back-to-back wins this season. So, and the other 2 Big 3 drivers have. So I put Keselowski in the Big 3, and Truex is out of there. And plus, he hasn't even won since Kentucky. It's cool to think that Keselowski 3 weeks ago had no wins, and now he has 3 wins. If you look at the point standings, we have Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Kurt Busch, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, Eric Almirola, Austin Dillon, Clint Boyer, and Alex Bowman, who are all currently in after race 1 of the playoffs and race 1 of the round of 16. And then we have Jimmy Johnson, Chase Elliott, Eric Jones, and Denny Hamlin out. Now, I'm not really surprised to see Jimmy Johnson out. I mean, I kind of expected him to... I mean, I expected him to go to the round of 8, but he was one of the guys that, like, wasn't really confident about that. So he's currently below the cut line, but seeing Austin Dillon, Eric Almirola, Ryan Blaney all above the cut line, Alex Bowman is above the cut line. That's insane. I did not expect that. Austin Dillon is going to win the championship on fuel mileage. I'm calling it right now. I'm not serious, but that'd be cool. Yeah, guys, it's going to be the end of this video. If you guys like this video, please leave a like on it. If you dislike this video, please leave a dislike and a hate comment telling me exactly what I did wrong. Be sure to subscribe and turn notifications. I'm sorry for the late upload. And as always, goodbye, Bunny Rabbits.